Hello again, everybody. Lee Freeman here. As you can see from the historical marker behind me, we're here on Catholic Hill at St. Joseph Catholic Church. And incidentally, for those of you that might know, it was originally called Lawton Heights because a local industrialist named B.A. Lawton built a subdivision on the hill. My great-great-grandfather, Wiley Francis Freeman, built a house here in the 1890s, one of two. But it's been the home of St. Joseph Catholic Church since 1889. Now, wait a minute, you're about to say. The historical marker right behind you says this church was founded in 1898. Well, when the historical marker was put up in the late 1990s, in 1990, 1998, the best research that the church had available at that time said the church was founded in 1898. But since then, I've been able to do research at the Florence Lauderdale Public Library in my day job in the local history department, and we've uncovered the fact that the church was actually founded in 1878. Now, I want to back up just a little bit and say that, of course, Florence was founded in 1818. We had the bicentennial just several years ago, the 200th. By 1820, there were an estimated 200 Catholics in the northwest Alabama towns of Florence, Tuscumbia, and Moulton. But there were no established Catholic churches in any of these cities. In fact, the first Catholic church in what is now the Quad Cities was Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, and it was founded in 1868, 1869 through the auspices or through the efforts of Dr. William W. Dupre, among others. He was a French immigrant and physician who migrated to Tuscumbia, who was also a Roman Catholic. So he helped found Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. Well, back to St. Joseph. In 1878, Reverend Father Benedict Minguez, who was born in 1840 and died in 1904, and had been in 1877 one of the priests at St. Michael's Catholic Church, which was founded in 1871 in the German colony of St. Florian. He came to Florence with the intention of founding a Catholic church. He was a representative of the Benedictine Society of Westmoreland, Pennsylvania. Reverend Father Minguez was a member of the Order of St. Benedict, and he was also the first abbot of St. Bernard's Benedictine Abbey down in Coleman. Well, Reverend Father Minguez approached the Florence City Alderman and said, I intend to found a Catholic church and school, and if you guys will let me do this, it'll attract immigrants. Reverend Father Minguez was also a representative of the Benedictine Society of Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, and stated the order's intention to found a Catholic church and school in Florence. Reverend Father Minguez approached the Florence City Board of Aldermen and argued that a Catholic church and school would attract immigrants, and the Board of Aldermen agreed and leased the Benedictine Society of Westmoreland, Pennsylvania, the old red brick schoolhouse on College Square, which is now 201 South Cherry Street, built in the late 1850s or early 1860s as Florence's first public school for the grand sum of $1 per year, with the only stipulation being that the building be used as a church and a school. And actually, Reverend Minguez published in the Florence Gazette an advertisement stating his intentions. This is from the Florence Gazette of Wednesday, June 5th, 1878, page 3, and I'll just read a little bit of it. Catholic Church and School at Florence. Being about to establish a Catholic church and school at Florence, Lauderdale County, Alabama, I wish to draw the attention of the inhabitants at Florence to this, my undertaking. Catholic church and school will undoubtedly help to improve the city of Florence. Many an immigrant will settle at the place who would not do so without finding there a church and school of his religion. The Germans, and he specifically references the Germans who had already settled St. Florian, the Germans are known as a good, diligent, economical, and industrious class of people. They will promote the welfare of the place and will prove themselves beneficial in many a way. Because sisters will give school at Florence, there will be a good opportunity for girls and young ladies to be instructed in every branch of science they are desirous to study, especially in the German language and in music. I kindly request the German inhabitants of Florence to aid me according to their best in order that My undertaking may be prosperous. And he signs it respectfully, Reverend Benedict Mingus, OSB, in Order of St. Benedict, pastor. So, to that end, in July of 1878, the old city schoolhouse at 201 South Cherry Street was converted into a Catholic church and school, which was officially dedicated on July 28th by Father John B. Bosson of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Church in Tuscumbia. The city of Florence later traded properties with St. Joseph, giving the church land on Maxwell Hill or Lawton Heights above the city cemetery, while building the Patton School on the old Catholic lot at 201 South Cherry Street. In 1902, a new church was dedicated by Bishop Edward P. Allen on June 8th, which incorporated the original 1889 structure. And under the pastorate of Reverend Paul Kohler, OSB, the present sanctuary of St. Joseph was dedicated on March 19th, 1974, on the Feast of St. Joseph. And the Florence Gazette chronicled the opening of the original 1889 church. On Wednesday, July 31st, 1878, page 3 of the Gazette wrote, Catholic School and Church, quote, the building in which our Catholic friends intend to carry on their school and church devotions has been entirely completed, and last Sunday, Father Bosson of Tuscumbia came over and dedicated the church. A large crowd of Florentines were present, and also a great many citizens of St. Florian, headed by our friend Adam Zulauf. 3 sisters will soon be here, and a good school started, unquote. Now, I wish I could say a little bit more about this original school, but the newspapers just don't say anything much about it. Though they don't say anything about it after that Florence Gazette article about the dedication of the church and school. Apparently, the sisters taught the first school in the old school building that was converted into a church in 1878. And again, we don't know anything about this original school or the names of the sisters who were supposed to teach it at present. Those original records might have been lost or destroyed over the years. The first separate school building of St. Joseph Parochial School was constructed in 1898 under the pastorate of Reverend Father Gelmbert Brunner. Father Brunner, who was supposedly a, quote, resourceful man as well as an accomplished beggar, unquote, raised enough funds to construct a 2-room frame school during his first year at St. Joseph's Priest. And incidentally, Reverend Father Brunner was St. Joseph's first located priest beginning in 1898. Up until 1898, it had been considered a mission, not a fully fledged parish. So priests like Father Cyprian Cray, OSB, of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart in Tuscumbia, came over in 1890 to conduct services. So Reverend Father Brunner, who built the first 2-room frame schoolhouse, was the first located parish priest at St. Joseph. Father Brunner was also the school's first teacher. According to tradition, we now know that the sisters taught it before. He was later assisted by several women of the church in teaching the school. In 1908, Sisters Perpetua and Aloysia of the Sacred Heart Convent in Coleman, Alabama, took over the school at the request of Reverend Father Thomas Stimler. Quote, there was never any money, and nuns who had taken a vow of poverty found they'd come to the right place. They would build Catholic education on nickels and dimes and prayer, unquote. In 1915, the first convent for the sisters to live in was built. At the time, the nuns had 54 students at the school, an increase from the original 31 students in 1908. In 1948, a contemporary brick building was built under the pastorate of Father Eugene Flynn, and in 1962, under the pastorate of Father Paul Kohler, an addition was built onto the school, as well as a new convent for the sisters. In 1973, a rectory and activities building was built. And in 1973, St. Joseph's School also received official accreditation from the Alabama State Department of Education. In May of 1986, the administration of St. Joseph Parish was transferred from the Benedictines in Coleman to diocesan priests, and diocesan priests are priests who are not in monastic orders. They're secular clergy as opposed to monastic or regular clergy. And a staff of lay teachers followed the Benedictines, along with 2 Franciscan nuns. Today the school is St. Joseph Regional School, and it serves both Catholic and non-Catholic children from 3 counties. Okay, I want to talk a little bit now about Blessed Martin de Porres Mission, which was located at 648-650 West College Street. The address varies depending on which city directory you're looking at. Beginning in 1936, the Catholic Church was attempting to make outreach into African American communities, especially in the United States. So sometime in the mid or late 1940s, we're not sure of the precise date, through the efforts of Florence African American businesswoman Bessie McAllister Foster and St. Joseph's priest, Reverend Father Isidore Fussnecker, Order of St. Benedict, Blessed Martin de Porres Mission for Black Catholics was founded. The pastor was Reverend Father Isidore Fussnecker, and Mrs. Foster had converted to Catholicism from the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and she assisted St. Joseph in securing a building for this church on West College Street. We just really don't know much about this Blessed Martin de Porres Negro Mission. We have a couple of newspaper references to it. We have a couple of city directory references to it. Apparently, due to a lack of parishioners, the church was only active for a few years. We do know that in 1949, W.C. Handy played a benefit concert, which was organized by Mrs. Foster in order to raise funds for a black parochial school, but it seems never to have been built, probably because there just weren't enough black Catholics in Florence Lauderdale to warrant an African American parochial school. And actually, when Mrs. Foster died in the mid-1960s, she had become a member of Our Lady of Grace Catholic Church in Sheffield, which, if memory serves, was integrated at that time. But Blessed Martin de Porres, for lack of parishioners, just was not in operation very long. One final thing I'd like to mention about St. Joseph is that it has always been interested in ecumenism, or interfaith dialogue. From 1878 with Reverend Benedict Minguez all the way through the current priest at St. Joseph, they have always been interested in interfaith dialogue. For example, the priests of St. Joseph have often been members of the Shoals Ministerial Alliance, which is a group comprised of mostly Protestant ministers who meet once a week for prayer and study. And St. Joseph also seems to have had a cordial relationship with the Jewish temple B'nai Israel over the years. For example, if you go to the Lenten Fish Fry at St. Joseph every year, you'll typically see several members of the Jewish temple there at the Lenten Fish Fry. So there's a brief history of St. Joseph Catholic Church and School. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for some of our other upcoming videos.